Hello and welcome to the 50-cent tour of Thursday, May 8th, 2013. Hey, we're almost through this week. Congratulations on making it this far. Please find a seat on the Liberty Bus and we will begin our tour. Prenda law is the tip of the iceberg. Prenda law has to do with copyright. The internet is rejoicing with news that notorious copyright troll Prenda Law and its attorneys, John Steele Paul, Hans Meyer, Paul Duffy, and Brett Gibbs, received a stinging sanction from federal judge Otis D. Wright II, over $81,000 in attorney's fees and a referral to federal prosecutors. So there are still some judges who are defending the rights of the people to exchange information. And I have a few articles about these ideas today. Yesterday I mentioned that, I may have just put it on Facebook, that there is now a handgun design that can be printed on a 3D printer. And it was put out there a day or two ago, and of course, the PTB, the powers that be, were not thrilled about that because it removes so much control. California, New York, and DC look to ban 3D printed guns. Now this was right away yesterday, and then today the gentleman who maintains this website and does the designs, this is Defcad.com, was on the Alex Jones program and shared about how he has received in email that moved him to take down all of the designs because he was threatened with being charged with international firearms breach of laws that govern that. You can see where they're coming from. Yes, potentially, people can, because it's on the internet, it is out there internationally. But it really is just a control issue. And copyright law was not invoked until after the invention of the printing press. The printing press, like the internet, gave a huge leap to the ability of people to share information with one another. And the internet now, as I've mentioned, CISPA and other potential legislation, and there are a lot of means through which the people who control or who want to control are trying to prevent us from having free use and free exchange on the internet. So this is shut down. This is the kind of thing, baking with EFF, not Derby pie, the trademarked treat. This recipe for this, evidently, it sounds delicious. It's the name of a popular southern confection made with chocolate, pecans, and lots of sugar. Anybody's allowed to make it, and there are plenty of variations online and in cookbooks. But if you call it Derby pie, you might find yourself on the receiving end of a legal threat from Kern's Kitchen. Hey, Derby pie by any other name is just as sweet, right? So my point is this. The cat's out of the bag. They can't, done bun can't be undone. The ability to communicate with one another is there. These ideas are there. These files are here. You can find virtually anything on the Pirate Bay, and it's a file sharing website in case you're not familiar with it. And through use of BitTorrent, you can download as I said, virtually anything. And I'm guessing that the Defcad handgun files are probably already here, although I have not searched for them, and I would not venture to search for anything on the Pirate Bay unless my IP address was blocked. How can you block an IP address, you may say? Well, one way, this is the torproject.org. It's called a Tor browser. What is the Tor Browser Bundle? The Tor software protects you by bouncing your communications around a distributed network of relays run by volunteers all around the world. It prevents somebody watching your internet connection from learning what sites you visit. It prevents the sites you visit from learning your physical location, and it lets you access sites which are blocked. There you go. It's rather fun. And it's all about freedom, right? I don't use Tor all the time because, I'm making this video. I'm telling people what websites I'm visiting. And Tor, I don't have a brand new laptop, and it tends to make my computer run a little slowly. So I don't always use Tor, but it's there if you do not want people to watch what you do while you are online. There are also other means through which you can prevent people from tracking you when you're online. And I just went to Startpage and did a search, hidden VPN, and you can find all sorts of ways all sorts of software that will prevent people from tracking your online activities. Moving away from that idea of internet freedom, breaking. European Commission to criminalize nearly all seeds and plants not registered with the government. Can you say Monsanto? I mean, so these people some of these countries ban GMOs, but yet their seeds, what seeds I can't even make myself say this, hardly. What seeds they're allowed to plant is tightly controlled. It was going to be. So unbelievable. I don't have words. It's called the Plant Reproductive Material Law, and it attempts to put the government in charge of virtually all plants and seeds. Home gardeners who grow their own plants from non-regulated I'm sorry, I can't even like I said, I can't say it. It's just such an absurd idea. Would be considered criminals under this law. So, you dang well better go outside and tell all of your flowering plants and all of your trees that drop those little seeds, I don't know, what, are we supposed to put a net underneath things to catch the seeds so they don't touch the ground? Where can this go? Enough is enough, right? So, how can we respond, really? How do you respond to something like that? Obviously, you tell them you don't want that regulation or law, but 90% of us told Congress that we didn't want the banker bailout in 2008. So where do you go from there? So, obviously there's civil disobedience, and I'm not wired that way, but this is an understated way to practice civil disobedience. I mean, it's not even civil disobedience, really. It's just voting with your feet, voting with your dollars. Boycott the enemies of the people. Don't freaking buy stuff from these people. It's all about control for them, but the foundation of their control is money. So if they stop getting our money, and sure, the banks can print it, we know that, but at least, they'd have to jump through more hoops if we would stop buying things from them. So this is a list, and this has been out there for a while, but this is updated. Who, how much money all these, and what the brand names are. So you can go through here and, there are some organic products here. Hunt's Organic, Orville Redenbacher's Organic. Go through and determine what products are made by the people that you don't want to put any money in their pockets. And, stop buying it, right? How difficult is that? And just to be a little helpful here, at the bottom is a list of some companies that, Bob's Red Mill, man, I love their products. So there are a lot of, here's Cliff Bars. Do you think it's a coincidence that Cliff Bars were, quote, accidentally, end quote, contaminated with salmonella a few years ago? I doubt it. I mean, some of these companies are going to be targets, and because they want to scare us away from what's really good and what's really right. But we're smarter than that, right? For a little visualization exercise of the day, visualizing the collapse of fiat currencies. And you don't even have to close your eyes and pretend to do this, because it's right there. Fiat currencies versus gold lose value over time. Fiat currency in itself is not bad, as my husband always likes to remind me. It's how it's managed, and it has been very poorly managed, and that has been intentional to break us down and bring about the collapse of Western society or whatever. I do know that they're opposed to Christians, and that was, interestingly enough, one thing that Lord Monkton focused on InfoWars as he was a guest today. That somebody in England tried to forbid people from wearing crucifixes. Now, I'm not a big fan of crucifixes. I'm more my emphasis is on the resurrection than on the crucifixion. But the blood of Jesus comes from the crucifixion, and certainly people should be permitted to. It's hard for me to even put these two words in a sentence together. Permitted to wear whatever symbol they want to wear, right? I mean, that's just, you don't even have to think about that. So for our good news of the day, other than, the Derby pie recipe availability, Healing Cancer from the Inside Out with Charlotte Gerson and Howard Strauss. Cancer can be cured. There, I said it. Before I get in any more trouble, I will thank you for watching today's tour and being on the Liberty Bus, and remind us all that the dawn is coming. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. It's a glorious thought. That psalm has sustained me through some dark nights. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.